Hey guys! After that somehow different apparition of the fourth part of the Alphascape series, I wanted to provide you the Alphascape series in its entirety. Starting with Alphascape version 3, we are directly facing Omega in its robotic form. The first thing Omega throws at us is Atomic Ray, which is a raid-wide attack that the healers should heal up as soon as possible. The next thing to mention is Mustard Bomb, with the main tank as target and which causes a massive amount of damage. Even a DPS junkie like I call myself is thinking about switching to tank presence here. Oftenly thereafter follows the most confusing mechanic, which inflicts heavy damage to those hit and in addition a debuff that increases received damage. If you are hit by that 2 times in a row, and in case you are no tank, your death is certainly predetermined. Therefore Omega is going to determine a site at which he projects the area to hit with his flamethrower, which means you are forced to dodge instantly to the other side, at the moment when Omega begins casting. Starboard Wave Cannon hits his right side and Larboard Wave Cannon the left one, and to dodge that you have to move to the side which is safe. Attention here, after the first Wave Cannon Omega turns around and uses a second Wave Cannon, which is selected at random. Now you have to reconsider the positioning because he is facing you head on. For the tank, the same procedure applies the other way around, for Omega is facing you head on in the first wave and turns around after that. When you manage to survive that little mindfuck, you are facing such split markers together with cone projected flamethrowers. The special thing here, the explosions leave trails of fire remaining on ground, a short moment applying fire dots on targets standing in them. So move out of them directly after the detonation. Once again, because this tank buster is crushing like crazy, protect yourself from it at any cost when being the main tank. After some time, Omega will use peripheral synthesis, summoning flying fists that fly across the platform and deal damage when touched. Here is the time for using your action button, Omega Jammer, to prevent that by targeting the hands and destroying them by clicking the button. After some walkthroughs of this mechanics, Omega will disappear roughly at 70% and start off a little intermission. In that, a level checker appears in the center that you have to deal with as quickly as possible because of being the DPS check here. You can also smash in the DPS limit break because it will regenerate after that phase. In addition to that, 8 yellow circles appear that altogether have to be manned, otherwise you are receiving damage and a debuff that also reduces your damage output. And if there are more than 1 or 2 unmanned, you eventually become confused, risking a walk into the zone of death. Be careful of the area marked by a glowing green line. Never step into it when not bolstered with suicidal tendencies. After those 8 circles, the center is blowing up, followed by a donut circle, leaving the center as a safe zone. While another 4 circles will appear, which have to be occupied by 2 people for every circle in the best case. Now, your only task remaining is the hammering onto that stupid level checker, before he has finished his cast of course. If failing at that, the fight will end at Omega's next attack. That finished, Omega appears in front of the arena, casting his Delta attack, which you are only able to survive by smashing your action button with the conductive focus as your target that spawns in the center. When you are able to fill the electromagnetic induction meter to 100% before Omega has finished casting his ultimate spell, you are granted the honor of continuing the fight. After that, phase 2 will begin, where Omega primarily performs the mechanics from before in random order. Certainly, the whole thing is spiced up by a more common overlapping of mechanics and 3 essential changes to them. First, Omega now variates peripheral synthesis with some idle standing big hands that don't move at the beginning until they start pushing forwards, hitting everything on their way with rocket speed. For our luck, we are able to see their starting position, and their movement way is projected by red fields some time before launching. After using this 2 times, Omega keeps randomizing this with the fists from the beginning. Especially in combination with ballistic impact and the flamethrowers, it can really get chaotic and dangerous, through reducing your field of action significantly. Secondly, Omega now will start with Electric Slide, a classic stacking mechanic whose threat you can minimize by stacking with the whole raid and healing up. The third and last addition is a change to the previous Mustard Bomb. Now when Omega uses it a second time after the first, another player gets marked by a tether, which the second tank has to interrupt and place himself at a fair distance to the other raid members. The detonation has a widespread area of effect and paralyzes targets hit and inflicts serious damage. So off tanks, remember to keep an eye on Mustard Bomb as well at this state of the fight. Above that, the main tank has to split its cooldowns because Omega will use the bomb twice in a row. Finally, this is the moment for switching to tank presence. Thereon, Omega will rotate all that chaotic cycles until he finally is finished off. So focus primarily on Wave Cannon, the Mustard Bomb, Electric Slide and the correct positioning when Ballistic Impact hits, in addition to that Rocket Fists. When you've beaten the rust out of this version of Omega, you are granted the opportunity to roll on a weekly limited token, and can enjoy yourself the sweet cutscene with Alpha and Sid. Thank you very much for watching. I am pleased about any form of feedback and participation with my channel, and now we're heading downwards with part 1 of Alphascape at the final. So keep your nerves, and we see us in the next part of the series. Until then, take care.